What's up, guys? Got a surprise. Hey, there's a cat. I got a spare motor. Just got a spare motor. So I had a subscriber, Charles, reach out to me and tell me that he had a spare motor he wasn't going to end up using. So, we got together, exchanged numbers, and turns out he only lives like an hour and a half or so from me. So I went and picked it up. I actually put the whole motor, minus, well, not minus, but with including the intake manifold installed and the exhaust manifold, everything was on the engine. Complete long block with manifolds, and I dropped it in the back of the Jetta, the Daily, the Mark IV. So for anyone wondering, you can put a complete 5-cylinder in the back of your Jetta if you want, and it drove just perfectly fine. It's an automatic car. It did not, it felt the weight, but it did not struggle at all. It drove perfectly fine, so no worries if you want to transport a motor. I'm pretty sure you could fit a VR6 in the back as well. You might just want to take the manifolds off. So anyway, got a spare motor. This one came out of a 2012 or 2013 Beetle. He said it had about 23,000 miles on it, and it is pretty clean. Like, I took off the valve cover already, and there's like not even any oil discoloration on the surface of the metal. So it's relatively low miles for sure. I took off the spark plugs. I'm gonna see if I can put that little video clip into this one and show. We actually put a bore scope down in the cylinders, pulled the spark plugs out, checked them out. They're nice and dark, like not nice, but they're like, they look fouled out for whatever reason. But we put the bore scope down in there, looked down to the pistons, and they're all pretty clean.
You can see where the injector is, how clean it is.
Apparently.
So it's decent.
Yeah, it's pretty clean.
It's clean too.
Definitely low mileage. It's like a little clean spot.
Yeah, that's where the injector is.
Brand new piston in that one little spot.
It's a little dirty, but it's still be alright. Can't find the hole. There it is.
It doesn't look bad.
Good to go.
Nice.
Let's see which one's all the way down. This one. Let's see if we can see any of the cylinder wall. What is that? Up here. So that's good.
Yeah.
You can see right there.
No discoloration from the oil. So definitely not a lot of miles on this motor.
It's in good shape.
So I'm pretty excited about it. The reason I got this motor, main reason, was because on the Rabbit, down here on this side, it's easier just to show you over here. The aluminum sump section right here, which is basically where the oil pump is, right back in here. Right here where it meets the block is leaking oil real bad, over on this side by the timing. Like right there, actually. It's leaking right there, and it's a pretty bad leak where I put probably a half a quart or more. It depends on how far I'm driving. If I'm driving a lot, I put anywhere between a half to 1 quart of oil in the car every week. And that's not consumption, that's actually from the leak itself, because before the leak happened, I wasn't burning any oil. I wouldn't consume any oil really between oil changes, almost none at all. There's almost never any oil in the catch can, like very, 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 very little. And that's like weeks and weeks of accumulation. So that leak is pretty bad. In order to actually seal it and drop that sump section down and clean it up and reseal it, you have to take the motor out of the car, essentially. I mean, you could probably do it in the car, but you have to drop the transmission, remove the clutch kit, remove the lower timing cover, which requires also removing the upper timing cover. You have to obviously, well, you possibly have to get the oil filter assembly out of the way. It might be easier anyway. Then you have to pull the crank pulley off, you have to pull this cover behind here off, and then you can drop it all down and reseal it properly. And obviously that's so much work, I decided to just get a spare motor that was nice and clean, get a new clutch kit, drop everything at once, swap everything over, and just make it easier on me. I do have the daily driver, but I'd rather not have the Rabbit down for like, you know, a month because of all that work. Since the only time I really get to work on the car is like Saturdays. So the only other problems I found with this motor is it was a bit roughed up, I think, when they pulled it. So what happened was this coolant tube right here. It's got some rust over here. I'm not sure. Maybe it was just from sitting, but basically this flange right here for the thermostat housing is cracked. It broke off, so this clip won't hold the tube in place anymore. So I'm going to replace this whole thermostat housing assembly. It has a bad kink right here in this tube as well, so I'm going to replace the tube right there. And also, right here where the coolant temp sensor is, they broke the flange here as well, so the clip won't hold the coolant temp sensor in place anymore. So I'm going to replace all that. Now my coolant temp sensor, I'm pretty sure I replaced that like just less than a year ago, so I'm just going to swap that over. This one's messed up anyway. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm going to replace both those flanges. I'm just going to swap over my hoses. I'll probably use my tube. I'm sure all that's going to be good. So I'll replace those two flanges and swap all my other stuff over. Put the turbo manifold on the back with all new gaskets. Put the intake manifold on the front with new seals. And yeah, you know, buy new belts or whatever and just have it like a complete 23,000 mile engine all over again. And the Rabbit's not, it doesn't have high mileage either. The Rabbit only has like 77,000 miles on it right now, which is not bad considering it's a 2007. What else? Oh, so this is missing the accessory bracket with the belts on it, but I have one of those. It actually has all brand new pulleys and tensioners on it, all brand new OEM. So when I torque that down and get new belts, like everything's going to be super fresh. Now for the clutch, I had two options. Right now on the Rabbit, it has a Black Forest Industry Stage 2. It should be holding as much power as I'm making. I'm only making like maybe between 300 and 330 pounds of torque at the flywheel. That's all I'm making right now, so it should be holding that. It's supposed to be rated for about 350, but it's slipping, especially on cold days. It has a hard time holding in third gear, and then fourth, fifth, and sixth just slips, so obviously it needs to be replaced. What I could do on the cheap side is I could go and get Black Forest Industries Stage 3 disc and pressure plate, and then resurface my flywheel, get some new hardware, bolt that all together. After speaking with them, that's one option I got, and it's only going to be like 600 bucks. Or I kind of would have more peace of mind, because you know I really hate dropping the transmission on these cars, to be honest. I've done it like 6 times now for various reasons, my car, my friend's cars, whatever. And I would rather have a clutch that I would say is a little bit more trustworthy. Like Black Forest works pretty good, but I did have the disc fail initially. The disc failed within a year of use on the Jetta that I had. And then now this kit, I had a brand new pressure plate on it, resurfaced flywheel, and a disc from Exetti that fit the specs exactly, and the clutch held perfectly fine for a while, and now it's slipping, and it's been on the Rabbit for a year. So I might go with Clutchmaster's FX400 and just slap the whole kit on there. It's going to cost double, you know, 1,200-1,300 bucks, but I think it's worth the peace of mind. So we'll see what I end up doing, and I'm just going to start accumulating parts, get new flanges, new seals for everything, new hardware where I need it. You know, yeah, that's it. So I get to look at some pretty cool stuff while I do it, and that'll be all for now. I don't want to drag a video on just for such a small update, so I'll make more later on. as I get all the parts, and if I have any other ideas of what I'm going to change, because I kind of want to make a new downpipe while the engine is getting put back in. Jerry has, this is my friend Jerry's garage, he has a MIG welder, TIG welder, a bunch of tools. Sorry, his cat's distracting me. He has a bunch of tools to make anything I need for the exhaust. We talked about making a new downpipe, making a new turbo inlet possibly, and maybe even getting a front mount intercooler and doing the intercooler piping for that. We'll see. It would be nice to redo all that at the same time as well. So, and then of course after that, I have to install the Audi RS, sorry, the B7 Audi RS4 fuel pump that I got. Adam at Nothing Leaves Stock retrofitted my top section to the RS4 bottom section, so I can put that in the car, swap out injectors, because the ones I have are 440s, and I can actually get the 550cc injectors. And then, because the 440s, I don't know if they'll quite make what I want power-wise, even with the upgraded pump. So get all that switched over and get retuned again from United Motorsports. And that's pretty much the end of it. So anyway, until then, this is it. Have a good one.